Hello, hello, and welcome, yes, to another episode of C-Suite, the CEO Chat. That's right, I'm Shawanna Kennedy, your host. I am excited. I'm excited because in this space, in this place, we've had the opportunity to go all over the globe to talk to some amazing women and men about the good, the bad, and sometimes ugly of what it look and feel like to be a CEO. So today we actually went right here in the state of Georgia. She is a Georgia girl. That's right. That's right. But she is an international certified image consultant, right? This young lady is about to tell us and help us get our personal brands together because it does matter how we show up. It matters how we show up so that we can show out because somebody needs what you have. I'm excited because my guest, she's better known as Miss Cherise B. Won't you help me welcome Miss Cherise to the platform? Hey, welcome to the C-Suite. I'm super excited that you paused for the call because she's somewhere, y'all. She's somewhere helping somebody get they stuff in order. She's looking at somebody's clothes right now, helping them style so that they can show up better, not only in the workplace, but where they get to show up and show out in the world.
Yes.
Why don't you say hello to everyone? And because I know that you get to do a bunch of things, like she's a concierge when it comes to helping you in your personal brand and for you to be able to show up, for you to you already know I like be seen, be heard, and be paid. And so she get to work with people that get paid so that they can show up in the world more. Just say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Shawanna. I'm so excited to be here. It's been a long time coming.
Oh my God, it has. It has. It's funny because when I think about when we first were introduced to each other and then seeing each other again,
Yeah.
no pun intended. Hey, shout out to Michael Parks.
Yes.
A photo shoot. That was like one of the coolest things in the world because then I was like, oh my God, the stylist is here. The stylist is here. Oh my God, I hope I have the things that she won't be like, Shawanna, what are you doing, girl? What are you doing? What are you doing? But I have to ask you, when I think about you taking the step beyond, because talk to us about the beginning, because I know before you went all the way in with image consulting, you did something else prior to that before you made that switch to being a pro to then helping CEOs.
Yes, Shawanna. I have been a hairstylist for 30 years. Yeah, I started out in the industry as soon as I came out of high school. I went to college for 2 years, studied psychology, and it just wasn't my lane. The psychology part I love, but the whole college lifestyle, like I was ready to be grown. I was ready to get out here and get into the beauty industry. I had a plan. I The quickest way to get out here in the world was to go to cosmetology school. And I started a career behind the chair, and it had been truly, truly amazing. I started out in Dayton, Ohio, and made it back to the South in Atlanta, and that's where I discovered image consulting. And I started my image consulting about 17 years ago.
Wow, it's been that long.
It's been that long. It's been a long time. Yeah.
Man, that is so cool. And that they do really go hand in hand and having the
Yeah, they're the
opportunity
same.
to watch you not only help someone to pick out their outfit, but then I've seen her, y'all, on while we're on set, things are happening. Conference is rolling, and she has literally actually plugged up some curlers to help the speakers to get themselves together. So not only was she fixing their lapels, but she was fixing them bangs. I'm
Oh
just saying.
yeah,
I'm just
yes,
saying.
for
I'm just saying.
sure.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all in the same. It's image, it's beauty. I was fortunate to start out in the hair industry, but I always knew I wanted to service the whole woman from head to toe,
Mm.
right? So I had the eye, a natural eye, to make sure that everything is cohesive. But when I went and started getting my certifications in image consulting, those are the missing pieces for me that I needed to bring together, to be certified, to be professional, and to make a mark in the industry.
I love it because you're right. And there is nothing wrong with people have to understand that it is okay and it is needed for us to one constantly be learners, right? To
Yes.
constantly know that we need to level up and up level our skills. And so to know that you even went a step further to not only get the beauty side. And that's the funny thing, because look, I put my stuff in escrow as it relates to the beauty side. My stuff been in escrow a long time, y'all. Truly, look, that's another life ago. That's a couple of lives ago.
Yeah.
I put my stuff in, moving to Georgia. I actually put my stuff in escrow because I already knew that wasn't the life for me. That wasn't the life for me. But I'm glad that you stuck with it, because I get to see you help so many people look amazing. And when we think about this being C-suite, that's business owners, that's executives, that's people to do that. So when you're in that world, what do you think is usually typically what stops them from even wanting to change it up? Because some people can get kind of stiff.
Yeah.
How does that conversation go? What does that look like for you to get them okay to say, you really do need to mix and match a little bit better? How is that approach for you?
Yeah, I think it starts with how I show up as a professional, because I get the opportunity to come from my creative world and go into the corporate C-suite spaces and be me. I've shown up and done plenty of corporate presentations with purple hair, with a fly bob, with some fly clothes on, and they're already enamored with the way I showed up in their space, right? So they're instantly like, oh, I want to do something. I want some edge, So me showing up in who I am and the best version of me gives them permission to say, I think I want to get out the box. Like, what's next for me? Like, what do you see for me? And that's breaks the ice. It's like the icebreaker.
I love the word that you used. You said permission, and we're talking about, when we think about business owners and entrepreneurs, and you already know how I feel about video visibility.
Yeah.
Talk about that permission for a second, because we already know these are successful individuals. These are multiple 6 and 7 figure clients.
Yeah.
But when you think about that part of who they are as an individual, not for the company, but for their personal brand, that of course affects everything.
Yeah.
Using that word permission helps someone who then they may not have stepped into that. I mean, they're bad mama jamma, right? They know they stuff. They know they stuff in the room, in and out of the room. But when it comes to our image and our style, that can actually help us to even scale even more. Talk to us about that.
Well, it goes back to, for me, programming. I use the word programming a lot. If you've been brought up in America, you've gone through the school systems, you've gone through college, and then you go to corporate America. And it was just the programming to show you how to show up to make them better, right? And, I think where we lost a bit of who we are, creatively and just innovatively, in that programming, you just lose a bit of who you are, and you lose your permission to show up in your creative self. You lose your permission to show up as that person, when you were a little kid, that person who did want to be a hairstylist or a makeup artist or interior designer, a painter, whatever that creative part of you is, you kind of lose it because you've been, programmed to operate in this box over here in this corporate world. And that conversation goes a lot of times, personally, with the people that I meet and the people that I, build relationship with. I wish I could dress the way I really wanted to dress. I wish that I could actually say what I wanted to say. I want to wear my hair natural. I want to wear red. I want to wear a bold red lip. And there's always a way to do that within reason, right? And especially if you're showing up and you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do, right? You should be bold enough to know that if you bring enough value to the marketplace, whether you're an entrepreneur or corporate C-suite, wherever you are, you should be able to show up as who you are, and how I feel. Our style, the way we wear our hair, the way we wear our clothes, the way we walk into a room and own it, that's just showing up as who you truly are authentically. But so many people just are not in that space to show up because they've lost their identity in the programming.
Yeah, that's so rich. That's good, because sometimes I believe people don't even realize it. Because like you
Oh
said,
no.
with programming, with the system of waking up, going to work,
Yeah.
coming back home, they don't even think about it until they have that moment. I can only imagine what it's like for you to be there when the light bulb goes off, right? Or when the aha, or after you've said, why don't you try this? You've selected some things for them, and then they come from out of the room, no mirror, and they come out and they stand in front of you.
Yeah.
Tell us, like, what was one of your best stories with someone that you really did? I mean, and they, mind you, they know who the heck they are as it relates to their skill in their business.
Yeah.
Right. But now we're talking about the image of who they are. Give us a story. I would love to hear one of your best when you think about someone that it really did change everything for them just by showing up in that way.
Well, I want to get really transparent about a client who loves for me to share her story. When I met her, she was a size 6. Can y'all see my glow? The sun is like just loving on me right now. But when I met her, she was a size 6, right? And she's been with me for a long time. And she ended up going to a size 16. And, I was styling her all throughout the years as she was, picking up the weight and going through things. And I mean, she had been through some personal things. She had lost her mom. We were going through COVID. It's just a lot, right? So she gained this weight. We had a personal conversation and I was explaining to her, I was like, some of the things that we used to do, we can no longer do with your style, because you've, had the weight gain. And I just want to be honest with you. We just can't do what we used to do. And I think you feel uncomfortable and you look uncomfortable. So we have to do different things with your body now, and styling your body. So, honey, and I gave her a referral, and she really appreciates that from this day, to get her jump started, right, for her weight loss. Well, that same lady is now, she had her 50th birthday. Her goal was to get back to her original weight. And it was healthy for her because she's a little lady. She got back to her weight, okay, that's size 6. And baby, when I tell you the way she allows me to dress her is just absolutely amazing. She lets me be creative because I know her so well. And I remember even when she was going through her weight loss, she didn't want to show her arms at a time. But baby, she put in that work and she said, oh, we can show my arms now, I'm good. So the opportunity to have been on that journey with her through all those spaces, those lifetimes, and then to come back full circle and to dress that body through all those stages, like that's why I love what I do, and we have some pictures that just, we're both flabbergasted, like, wow, I can't believe we went through those stages. But it's such a testimonial to women. You can do whatever you want. You want to lose that weight, you want to reshape that body so that you can wear the clothes that you want to wear, you absolutely can. And I consider myself the ultimate compliment to women in leadership because I am the type of person, I have to know how to be a servant and a boss at the same time, Shawanna, because these alpha women, these bossy alpha women will try to boss you around, which is fine. But it's like, hey, this is my lane right here. You hired me to take care of you in this space. So right now I'm the boss. Okay. So I need you to trust me. And I need you to know that when I am dressing you and when I'm, putting you together for that stage, it's like I'm doing it for myself. I'm looking at you and I'm looking at me at the same time. We're a team, right? So I'm going to do the best version that I can for you to make you look like the best version of yourself.
I love it because that's a great story. I'm excited for her.
Yeah.
Look, matter of fact, when y'all say we got to make sure that we have if we can sneak and get a couple of photos and we make sure we include some transformation photos so you can actually see who this lovely young lady is. So shout out to you. We're excited for what you've been able to do and accomplish and still actually remain on the top. One of the things that you said when you were saying is being a part and with the person throughout their journey.
Yeah.
Being in this space and talking about visibility, talking about branding, and having people that grow with you, that go with you, and you know them. And you talked about alpha female. I can because I'm definitely, I'm pretty strong. I'm pretty strong. And so I was over here laughing like that is so true because I don't want to use the word stubborn.
Yeah.
Right? So that's there could be some of the bad when you're dealing with someone. Have you ever had a case where because they are so used to being in charge that you're like, you know what? I don't even know if I could even help you because you won't release control.
Yeah.
And you're talking about how not releasing that control can hinder your brand. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I was introduced to a CEO here in Atlanta, and when I saw her, I was so excited to style her for this photo shoot. A part of the issue was we did not get a chance to build a rapport. I was introduced to her. We had a phone conversation, and I immediately, like, I'm sizing you up. The minute I hear your name, I'm Googling, I'm sizing you up, I'm making sure that I'm starting to put things in order for you. Well, I put in the work, and I felt like I had everything in order. I felt like she would be happy. But the morning of the shoot, she canceled the whole photo shoot on everybody. And I immediately knew what it was. She had anxiety about the photo shoot. She had anxiety about the position. She was newly in a position. She was a little concerned about spending her budget on that. It felt vain to her. It felt like too much for her. Right. And then I also think that she was a little uncomfortable with the new styling. Although we agreed on things, I just think that it was new for her. It was all a new process. And it was just a no for her at the last minute. I immediately knew. Everyone was upset, but I had a feeling that there was going to be some apprehension. But I didn't think it would be a full cancellation. So I was prepared, for a little resistance. But I was disappointed that she canceled. But I knew exactly what it was. It was anxiety, because if she wanted to make it happen, she would have. But that was control to me. That was control, and that was just, kind of not being ready. If she would have been able to build a rapport with me from the beginning, I know exactly how to handle that situation.
Yeah, and that's so true. And because if you already have reservation, sometimes, and then it's something foreign. It's something foreign.
Yeah.
It's something that you're just really honestly not used to.
Yes.
And it's comfortable. Change for a lot of us, and especially if you are Gen X, or as they call it, what are they calling now? The older millennials, of a certain age. And it's like, no, I'm not used to that. I don't like that. I'm used to the things that they are. Yeah. I know that even for me, me being a little bit transparent, most people that see me, and I try to tell people for one, when I think about my image, is because it took me so long to just embrace changing things up.
Yeah.
And when I did say for this season in my life, to be able to then show my silver hair, that was kind of like a big thing. So just so y'all, being on here, showing my natural hair, because I do have natural hair, but I do like to change it up. That was huge for me. It's still depending on what's going on right now. It really is. And so trying to embrace that side with what it is that we get to do, is like we really do have to remember, because you're all about personal brand, and just talking to us about the conversation about our personal brand that really does affect our business side. How can you help someone who really are resistant to that change? What does that look like? What does the cost of that, them not being willing to invest in themselves in that way? Talk to us for a moment.
Yeah, so I think that people are misconstrued and have been really miseducated on what the personal branding is. Personal branding is just that. It's personal branding. It's really the connection. It's how people feel when they have encountered you. When they walk away from you, what did they feel? What will they say about you when they walk away from you? You know, a lot of, yes, it's the logos and the photos and all that stuff, but the personal branding is really like Shawanna. When I met you, I think we hit it off immediately, you know, but I also think that that's because of the evolved space that we're in. You know, we are in our purpose, and, you know, we stand strong in who we are and what we do, how we offer it, who we offer it to, you know. So I think that when people begin to understand with the personal branding, it really is about your personal evolution. Right? It's about how you show up as the best version of you and display, you know, your purpose, and how you move this world, and how you encounter people, like how you add value to the people that you do encounter, and it shows up in how they walk away from you. Guaranteed. So even if it's just a personal conversation, a person should walk away from you remembering something and feeling something about you, right? So those people who are a bit resistant, in my opinion, resistant, are those people who I feel like just have not, maybe they're not quite in their purpose work yet. You know, maybe they aren't in full alignment of who they really are. And trust and believe me, there are some really seasoned people who aren't quite there yet because of programming, you know, and they think that it has to look a certain way, right? I have to look like the boss and the leader. But, you know, the real bosses and leaders are meeting people where they are, right?
That's good.
And adding value wherever you are, period. So personal branding is just that. Think about, who are you and who am I becoming in this universe? You know, so that I can be better, and whatever I do, however I show up, I'm making others better, no matter where and how.
I love it. I hope y'all checking this out. Make sure y'all following Miss Cherise B. Look, she is doing the doggone thing. She is, look, Cherise B almost everywhere except for IG. But you
show up with Cherise B.
Yeah, show up with Cherise B. Show up with Cherise B right on IG. Hey, you actually even rhyme. Hello. But I love that. I love that because it's so true. And when you're confident about who you are in who you are, not just whose you are, but who you are, it really does affect everything.
Yeah.
And being able to then have a person to just change some of the simplest things. Sometimes it could be that we're wearing the wrong size. How about that?
Oh yeah, wrong size.
Wrong size that is this messing up everything.
Yeah. Wrong color.
Conversation though. How do you have a conversation where, as they say, when somebody be like, now you know that's a little bit young, not as in the skirt is too short, but more or less, now you really know that that's a little bit too tight, or that's a little bit too big because of people being self-conscious, right? It's not always about things being too tight. Things can be too loose. How do people embrace that part? And then I'm a little bit old school, so I gotta say this. I'm a believer in even proper undergarments.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm just saying that's me personally, and I know that was one of the things that I had to kind of adjust to being in the South, where there really not as many nylons as it used to be. So people were freer to be without certain levels of things of support. Because I am a woman of a certain age. That leaning into that. How do you have those conversations?
Well, they typically start with, believe it or not, people will say, "What do you think?" Right? Yeah, it starts there because the minute you tell them you're a stylist or image consultant, they start asking you questions, and they'll say, "Well, what would you do with me?" So it makes it easy for me. So I don't really have to say anything. And then other situations are pretty unique where if there's an opportunity, say someone's clothes are hanging or something, and I might, come up and say, oh, let me fix this for you. It's okay. It's just a little bit too big. Or let me fix your jacket. Oh, it's okay. You don't want those boobs out. Let me, adjust that for you. Might just be a little bit tight. It's okay, girl. We all gained a little weight during COVID. Like just in a really subtle but sister-friendly way, But a lot of the men, and surprisingly women as well, they start asking questions. What do you think? What do you think about? I was thinking about cutting my hair. Oh yeah, you should. And let me show you what hairstyle you should do. That's easy. Add value. Tell them whatever they ask you, tell them the answer. And then add more value and add more value. Like you're building relationship, building community when they ask you questions. You're building trust. So answer their questions honestly and truthfully.
I love it. I love it. Y'all hear that? I need to make sure before we even wrap with this, because it's so many other things that I even want to talk about. Matter of fact, it's feel good as hell. Right. I think that's a whole nother something. Yeah. Before we even jump into that, I would love if you just give them a few, just a couple of even tips just to even get started. Just give our viewers a couple of tips. Now I have Miss Cherise B on here, and she is an international certified image consultant. Help the people.
Okay, so we'll start with, I'm gonna make it twofold, right? So we can make it kind of quick. So let me tell you where the feeling good as hell formula came from. Okay, it was during the downtime. I was going through some things, and I realized that feeling good was really a lifeline for me, right? So that acronym HELL is about healing, evolving, loving, and living life to the fullest, right? So when I go to a church and speak about that, they're like, hell, what you mean hell? I'm like, whoa. I'm talking about healing. And I'm talking about evolving and loving and living your life to the fullest. And what that means is you show up, you do what you have to do to feel good. So if that's exercise, if that's meditation, if that's going to church and getting a good word, if that's hanging out with your girlfriends, do whatever you have to do to feel good, because feeling is the secret. Right? And feeling good as hell is the formula to get you there. And I think that you should really do whatever it takes for you to feel good and look good, right? So if you're not feeling good about your clothes, seek some help. Go basic. If I did not have the clothes I wanted or thought I didn't feel good about what was in my closet, I would go back to my closet. I would have a friend over, and I was like, help me go through this closet and pick out these things, the things that need to go. Let's get rid of them. And let's pick out the things that look good and feel good. And we're going to shop this closet first, right? And get that new eye on the closet and create some new outfits from what you already have. Creating something from nothing. And we know that our culture, our people, we are the best at creating something from nothing.
And she has mastered the art of helping you look your best and build your personal brand, as well as what I say, it affects everything we do in our business and what the world get to see, right? Because sometimes before they ever have a conversation with us, they have to see us first. This has been a rich conversation. This has been rich. So then y'all already know what that means, so that I can stay right over here and I could deal with our sponsors over up in here. We gonna have to have a part 2. And what y'all say about us having Miss Cherise back, because I actually want to talk more about that feeling good as hell. Because hey, do you feel good as hell, right? Do you look good as hell, right? Yeah, and then we could even talk about some other things as it talk about our personal brand and business. I'm super excited. Don't y'all go nowhere. Miss Cherise B, you hang on. We gonna tell them goodbye, because we gotta get ready. We gotta get ready to do this again. So don't you go nowhere. All right, thank y'all for joining us for this episode of C-Suite, the CEO Chat. You'll be able to find out everything you need to know about Miss Cherise right down in the description. So make sure you reach out to her and tell her exactly where you saw her from. That's right here in C-Suite CEO Chat with your girl, Shawanna Kennedy. I appreciate you, right? I'm better because of what you do and how you support me. That's right. So make sure you say hi to me on social media, follow me, click that notification bell. Let's partner together, because who knows, you might be my very next CEO. And remember, do something today that your future self will thank you for. I will see you all next time. Bye for Kennedy. This episode is brought to you by Kennedy Media and Entertainment, your premier video productions and digital visibility partner. Working with business owners just like you to be seen, heard, and paid by elevating your brand with high-impact video content, online visibility strategies, and expert social media management. Ready to stand out in your industry, on and off camera? Contact Kennedy Media today, and let's turn your message into a movement. Because visibility isn't optional, it's essential. Contact KennedyMediaLLC.com, KennedyMediaLLC.com, and let's boost your brand's visibility. It's time for you to be seen, heard, and known for your expertise. Contact us today.